we present to you our special computer training exclusively designed for SS3 and GSS3 graduates. Our comprehensive program covers a wide range of topics, including Microsoft Word, master the art of document creation and editing, unlock the power of data analysis and visualization, Microsoft Access, learn to manage and analyze database, Microsoft PowerPoint, create stunning presentations that captivate audiences, graphic design using CorelDRAW, unleash your creativity and design skills, Photoshop, enhance your image editing skills and create stunning visuals, programming using web design, build dynamic websites and web applications, database development, learn to design and manage databases, UI/UX design, create user-friendly and intuitive interfaces. At the Turabo Business School, we believe in creating world-class entrepreneurs and professionals. Our experienced instructors will guide you every step of the way, providing you with hands-on training and mentorship. Don't miss this opportunity to gain a competitive edge. Contact us today to learn more about our program and register for the next session. Call 080-6026-9140, 070-6342-8464 or 090-1010-8844 between 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Turabo Business School, creating world-class entrepreneurs and professionals. Join us today and unlock your full potential. Turabo Business School, opposite Civil Service Commission, Hamarua Way, Jalingo, Turabo State. Empower yourself with the skills of the future. Register now.
Welcome. You're tuned into news at 9 p.m. on Psalm TV, the pulse of the nation. This is where every headline matters. Stay engaged. Follow us on Facebook at Psalm TV and stream live on YouTube at Psalm TV Live. This is where stories breathe. On the news tonight, Nigeria mourned former President Muhammadu Buhari with a public holiday declared for his burial on July 15, 2025 in Daura, with President Tinubu forming a committee led by Judge Akume to oversee arrangements. Taraba establishes new university for agriculture and climate action. Honorable Ekpo pushes for gas-powered economy at South-South Forum and all. International news. UK Bishop urged action against West Bank settler, call for sanction. Business news. FIRS plans conference to combat illicit financial flows and enhance revenue. Entertainment news. Hilda Dokubo questions political loyalty of David Mark, RFI children in APC. Sport news. Dangerem criticized National Sports Commission's lack of board, citing governance flaws. I am Bridget James, and now the news in full. The nation of Nigeria is enveloped in grief following the passing of former President Muhammadu Buhari at the age of 82 in a London hospital after a prolonged illness. In response, the federal government has declared Tuesday, July 15, 2025, a public holiday to honor the late leader. As announced by Interior Minister Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, following President Bola Tinubu's approval. Similarly, the Katsina state government has declared a state holiday, leading to early closure of schools and offices as residents mourn. Buhari remains are expected to arrive in Katsina by noon on Tuesday, with funeral prayers scheduled at the Emir's Palace in Daura, followed by burial at his country home in accordance with Islamic rites. In light of this significant loss, the Special Federal Executive Council section, initially planned for Tuesday to honor Buhari, has been cancelled due to his state's burial taking place on the same day in Daura. President Tinubu has approved the formations of an inter-ministerial committee led by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, to coordinate the state's funeral. This committee comprises key ministers, security chiefs, and presidential aides. Additionally, Tinubu has directed all government offices to open condolence register, with central register available at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Tinubu International Conference Center in Abuja are expected in the coming days. Security measures have been significantly intensified across Katsina State, particularly in Daura, to ensure a dignified and safe funeral ceremony. Multiple checkpoints have been erected along major roads, including the Umaru Musa Yaradua International Airport Road and Daura Road. Additional deployments have been made around the Emir's Palace and Buhari's private residence, reflecting the high-profile nature of the event. In a show of national solidarity, Vice President Kashim Shettima, acting on behalf of President Tinubu, paid a condolence visit to the Buhari family in London, accompanied by Chief of Staff Femi Babamilo, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Toga, and Deputy Chief of Staff Ibrahim Hadija. Shettima also extended sympathies to Buhari's nephew, Mamman Daura, who is recuperating in a London hospital. These diplomatic efforts are part of the arrangement to ensure the dignified repatriations of Buhari's remains to Nigeria.
Muhammadu Buhari was a military dictator turned Democrat. In 2015, he took the oath of office as a president elected by the people. And as the first presidential candidate to defeat a sitting leader, it was a remarkable moment in the country's history. It was in 1983 that he first ruled the country, taking power in a coup. As a young officer, he rapidly rose through the army ranks during a time when Nigeria was experiencing frequent regime changes. When he came to power, the economy was in turmoil and official corruption was rampant. He vowed to come down hard.
Fraud, indiscipline, corruption, squandermania.
His time in power is best remembered for campaigns against what he called squandermania, but also for human rights abuses. But the general who promised to clean up the system didn't last long. After 20 months, he was himself ousted in a coup.
President Tinubu ordered the national flag to be flown at half-mast and dispatched senior government officials to oversee the burial process. Among those leading the tributes was Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who mourned Buhari while also honoring the late Awujale of Ijebu-land, Abba Sikiru Kayode Adetona, who passed away on Sunday at the age of 91. Sanwo-Olu described both leaders as icons of discipline and wisdom, noting that their deaths represent a significant loss to Nigeria and their respective communities. In a related gesture of respect, the chairman of Ijebu Ode local government, Dare Olebiosu, ordered the temporary closure of 3 major markets, Ita, Ale, Itaosu, and Oke Ajay, in honor of Oba Sikiru Kayode. This decision aligned with cultural traditions and allows residents to mourn the Reverend Monarch. The markets will remain closed from Monday, July 14th until further notice. Pending consultations with traditional authorities, residents and traders have been urged to comply respectively. The outpouring of tribute for former President Buhari reflects his significant impact on Nigeria. Former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, described Buhari as a man of unwavering integrity and loyalty. Speaking from London, where he was undergoing a routine medical checkup at the time of Buhari's passing, Abdulsalam expressed deep sorrow over the loss.
Together. But I have been discharged. When I heard the news of his passing away, I quickly went there to condole with the family and see what can be done in order to get him ready, to get the corpse ready to be taken home.
Talk to me about the man, your relationship with him, when you met him, your fond memories of him.
Well, my relationship with General Buhari went back to as far back as 1962. We joined the military. He was my senior, and during the unfortunate civil war, we were fighting in the same sector with him. General Buhari is a gentleman who is very quiet, but exceptionally honest. You can trust Buhari with anything on this earth, and he will not betray you. During his tenure as a military officer, you have seen how he has tried to fight corruption, and also he established war against indiscipline in order to make us Nigerians behave the way the civilized world behaves. He introduced the war against indiscipline, and Nigeria was cleaner and more respectful during that tenure. Unfortunately, we lost those values that he tried to inculcate in Nigerians. When he became the democratic president, again, he tried his best to make sure that he fights corruption. Unfortunately, most of the officers, some of the officers who served with him are found wanting. They didn't do as much as is expected of them. So may he rest in peace. Well, certainly his death has been a big blow to Nigeria. President Tinubu has asked the vice president to come so that he can escort the body. This shows you the magnitude that has befallen Nigeria. With the passing away of President Buhari, politics in Nigeria will certainly change. I hope for the better. That's all.
Similarly, former President Olusegun Obasanjo issued a heartfelt statement calling Buhari a cool patriot who served Nigerians to the best of his abilities. Despite past public criticism of Buhari's administration, Obasanjo acknowledged his commitment to national service, highlighting his role as a military officer, administrator, and civilian president.
About Muhammadu is that he tried his best. My prayer is that God will forgive him of his inadequacies and accept him into his kingdom. It's a loss to the nation. Because at a time like this, we need the totality of the experience and what I may call statesmanship of all those who have had opportunity to run the affairs of this country in the past to get us out of the situation we are in. He will be sorely missed, and may his soul rest in perfect peace.
The All Progressive Congress, Buhari's political party, also paid tribute through its National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka. The party described Buhari as an enigmatic and disciplined leader who reshaped Nigeria's democratic landscape. Moka emphasized Buhari's pivotal role in forming the Congress for Progressive Change, which merged with other parties to create the APC. The party extended condolences to Buhari's family and President Tinubu, describing his passing as an irreplaceable loss to the nation. In Borno State, Governor Babagana Umaru Zulum credited Buhari with significantly improving security during his tenure. Speaking from London, Zulum noted that Borno experienced relative peace compared to previous years, thanks to intensified military operations and strategic interventions that reclaim terrorists from insurgents. He emphasized that towns once overrun by Boko Haram became habitable again under the Buhari's administration, laying a foundation for ongoing stability and development in Borno State.
It is very sad. It is a great loss, not only to his family and the people of Katsina State, but to the country at large. On behalf of the government and people of Borno State, I want to commiserate with the federal government of Nigeria, the president of Nigeria, the government and people of Katsina State, and indeed his family, over his demise, and may Almighty Allah, in his infinite wisdom, forgive and grant him eternal rest. The contributions of President Muhammadu Buhari to the growth and development of Borno State need not to be overemphasized, because we have started witnessing gradual return of peace when he took over as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2015. Borno State was largely controlled by Boko Haram before 2015, but immediately as he took over the mantle of leadership of the country, he decided to transfer the military headquarters to Borno State, thereby bringing lasting peace and stability to the state. In addition to this, Borno State has been facing serious challenges of power outage as a result of vandalization by Boko Haram. It's under his leadership that Borno State, that the federal government has established an independent power supply, gas power supply, through the NNPC. And you know what it means to the people of Borno State, especially to Maiduguri. Power, electricity is everything. And the last but not the least, the nexus between peace, security, and development need not to be overemphasized. Once there is no peace, there will be no security, and there is no security, there will be no development. President Buhari is my father. To me, he's a father, a mentor, and indeed a brother to me, because I have an unfettered access to him during his 4 years. He has mentored me, and I have learned a lot of lessons from him. We continue to cherish him, and inshallah, we shall continue with the good relationship with his family members, and we shall continue to remember him. There's nothing we can say rather than to say he has lived well, and we pray that Almighty Allah will grant him eternal rest.
Transitioning to political development, the APC's dominance was evident in Lagos State's recent local government election, where the party swept all 57 chairmanship seats and 375 out of 372 councillorship positions, as announced by the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission on Sunday. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu hailed the result as a collective victory for Lagosians, affirming the party's strong grassroots connection. He urged newly elected officials to lead with humility and accountability. APC Publicity Secretary Seyi Oladebo lauded the electorate and party faithfuls for what he called a resounding mandate, emphasizing that the result reflected confidence in the party's vision for grassroots development. The Igala Cultural Development Association's Adamawa State chapter has launched a new leadership era with the inauguration of its freshly elected executives. The election led by Alhaji Mohammed Total, a credentialed committee, was praised for its transparency, fairness and smooth execution. Some TV correspondent has the details.
Yola branch, I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability, faithfully, and in accordance with the Constitution of the Igala Cultural and Development Association.
The Igala Cultural Development Association Adamawa State Chapter has officially inaugurated its newly elected executive members, marking a new chapter in the leadership of the ICDA. The new leadership is led by Alhaji Danlami Yahaya, who now serves as the president. He will be supported by Pastor Ukumonu Johnson Anthony as the vice president, Alhaji Abu Omede as the general secretary, and Alhaji Muhammad Nuhu as the treasurer.
Hello everyone, the Igala Cultural Development Association Adamawa State Chapter has inaugurated her ESCOs, and this ESCOs will be pioneering this association for the next 4 years. Join me up as I tell you more of the story. I remain Ojema Yusuf.
This emergence followed a peaceful and transparent election conducted by a credential committee chaired by Alhaji Mohammed Total. The process was widely commended for being fair, free and seamless.
Election is not new to anybody again. Election is free and fair. Normally what we do in Igala community, we have an ESCO that the duration of the ESCO is 4 years. The first tenor have done their own for 4 years, and this is the second one they are coming for their own 4 years. And we pray it will be a successful one. In conducting the election, we did it and all Igala community participated. They voted for the candidate of whom they like and whom they think that will going to work for them. And we have successfully done it, and we believe in the next 4 years we will not have any election unless otherwise.
In his address, the newly sworn president, Alhaji Danlami Yahaya, expressed deep appreciation to the Igala community for the trust placed on him. He promised that his administration will prioritize the welfare of all members and ensure that ICDA wears, in his words, a new look.
And kind to the sources of this program. Our thanks also go to non-member and friends for similar contribution and presence. We wish everyone a memorable celebration with you. Long live Igala Cultural and Development Association. Long live Adamawa State. Long live Kogi State. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The event also featured goodwill messages from traditional leaders, elder statesmen, and senior government officials, all echoing high hopes for unity, transparency, and progress under the new leadership. One of the major highlights of the day was the formal launch of the ICDA newly reviewed constitution. The document is expected to strengthen internal governance and serve as a guiding framework for the association activities going further. With a renewed sense of purpose and responsibility, the ICDA leadership steps into office with a promise to serve and uplift the Igala community across Adamawa State. I am Ojoma Yusuf for Sun TV News, Yola.
However, opposition parties raised significant concern about the election's credibility. The PDP's deputy chairman in Lagos, Tai Benedict, dismissed the result as unrealistic, citing widespread voter apathy and alleging inflated figures given the low turnout observed. The Labour Party labelled the process a sham and a rape of democracy, pointing to the absence of electoral officials in numerous polling units. The African Action Congress demanded the total cancellations of the polls, describing them as worse than a coup. In contrast, Katsina State witnessed a significant political shift with a mass defection from the APC to PDP and NNPP. Led by Mustafa Inua, the defectors representing all 34 local government areas and diverse demographic groups cited worsening insecurity, inflation, and broken campaign promises as reasons for their departure. At the rally marking the formal unveiling of the ADC state chapter, membership cards were distributed to new entrants. Lawful Batagarawa, representing the National Political Coalition Group, criticized the Tinubu's administration handling of security and economic matters. ADC State Chairman Usman Musa Wamba, he urged the youth to take a more active role in reshaping Nigerians' future, while former APC stalwart Aliyu Solawa accused the ruling party of betraying the North and abandoning commitment to education and public safety. Meanwhile, the PDP held a caucus meeting in Katsina to reassert its relevance, with former governorship candidate Yakubu Lado affirming the party's strength despite electoral setback. Shifting focus on security concerns, the ADC in Kebbi State condemned the brutal killing of police officers and civilians in Zongirma village, Bunza local government area. The party's publicity secretary, Abubakar Atiku, described the attack as unacceptable and accused the state government of prioritizing political agendas over citizens' safety. Compensation for affected families. In contrast, residents of Jonjo, Father, the hometown of former Attorney General Abubakar Malami, pledged their support for Governor Nasir Idris during a solidarity visit, then distancing themselves from Malami's influence. On the economic front, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, called on business leaders to invest locally in derived development during a visit by participants of the Global CEO African Program to the Dangote refinery in Lagos. Highlighting the refinery's success as a model, Dangote urged business people to stop repatriating capital abroad and focus on creating jobs and economic opportunities at home. Despite challenges like policy inconsistency and poor infrastructure, he encouraged African CEOs to think big and preserve, visiting executives and academics from Lagos business schools and strengthen more business schools in Kenya. They praised the refinery as a symbol of African potentials. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ekperipe Ekpo, reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to transforming Nigeria into a gas-powered economy under President Tinubu's Decade of Gas initiative. Speaking at the South-South Gas Utilization Forum in Uyo, ECO emphasized shifting from resource extraction to value addition and sustainable growth, particularly in the South-South region. He called for actionable steps and partnership to unlock the region's gas potentials. Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno, represented by Deputy Governor Akon Ayakei, and the CEO of Gas Aggregators Company Nigeria, Chijoke Uzoho. He pledged support for collaborative efforts to derive industrializations and economic transformations through gas development. The Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria credited the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority with reducing cross-border fuel smuggling by 35% through striker enforcement measures. Executive Secretary Olufemi Adewolu praised NMDPRA's oversight for improving product availability, investors' confidence, and operational efficiency. Recent reforms have attracted $1.2 billion in modular refinery investments since 2022, boosted compliance, improved fuel quality, and enhanced market competitiveness. Adewale called for continued stakeholders' collaboration to sustain deregulations and sectoral growth. Turning to educational and social development, Governor Agbo Kefres has signed into law the bill establishing the Taraba State University of Tropical Agriculture, Science, Technology, and Climate Action to be located in Gembu, Sardauna local government area. This new institution aims to advance education and research in critical areas for the state's development. The chairman of the Taraba State Internal Revenue Service, Brigadier General Jeremiah Faransa, retired, endorsed the digital initiative to preserve the endangered Wurkum and Jiba languages in a meeting in Jalingo with Zesan Limited. Faransa praised the use of technology to protect cultural heritage. Zesan CEO Anthony Otegbe outlined plans to develop digital learning tools, school content, and mobile apps to promote these languages among younger generations, aligning with UNESCO International Decades of Indigenous Languages. In Lagos, over 2,000 residents have benefited from the NNPC Shell Vision First Eye Care Initiative, which provided free consultations, surgeries, and eyeglasses over 5 days in Mushim. The program included 245 surgeries, 198 for cataract, and 47 for presumed beneficiaries. They expressed gratitude, with one man emotionally recounting seeing his wife clearly for the first time in years. Since it launched in 2022, the initiative has reached over 6,000 people, with Shell Nigeria Explorations and Production Company reaffirming its commitment to social impact. The Ekiti State government has launched a creative arts competition for secondary schools to nurture artistic talents, scheduled for July 17, 2025, at the Civic Center in Ado Ekiti. Students will depict Governor Biodun Oyebanji's achievement through painting, sculpture, and craft. Each school will be represented by 2 students, with cash prizes and award for the top 10, including 400,000 naira and a trophy for the winner. The Samuel Olatunji Adebaking Foundation donated 20 million naira to St. Joseph Secondary School in Agege during its 2025 Founders Day, organized by the Global Alumni Association. Oluwajimi Adebankin and alumnus emphasized equipping students with entrepreneurial skills. The event featured a lecture by Professor Pius Adejo on professional networking and honored alumni, including former Lagos Deputy Governor Adejeku Orelopo. The Petroleum Technology Development Fund has commenced interviews for over 5,000 candidates shortlisted for its 2025 Overseas Scholarship Scheme. Selected from 29,000 applicants, the interviews conducted across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones emphasized transparency and merit. A new split-site PhD program linking UK universities with the PTDF College in Kaduna was unveiled with the final list of awardees to be determined under strict guidelines. In governance and labor relations, the FCT chapter of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees suspended a 3-month strike, directing members to resume work from midnight, July 15, 2025. The decision followed FCT Minister Nyesom Wike's approval to use 10% of area council internally generated revenue to clear salary arrears. The union will work with a special committee to resolve remaining issues within 2 weeks and continue discussions on outstanding allowances. The Oyo State government has established 21 new agencies since 2019 to enhance governance efficiency, according to Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Dotun Oyelade. This includes the Anti-Corruption Agency, Agribusiness Development Agency, Amotakum Corps, and other focused on youth development, disability rights, digital innovation, and gender-based violence response. Oyelade highlighted the delegations of 4 ministers and several agencies to the Deputy Governor, a first in the state history. In Rivers State, a High Court barred the sole administrator Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired, from inaugurating new members of the Rivers State Service Commission. Pending judgments on a suit filed by suspended members appointed by Governor Siminalai Fubara, Justice Frank Oyuri ordered all parties to maintain the status quo, with the case adjourned to September 29. The Kano State Chairman of the New Nigerian People's Party, Hashimu Dungurawa, dismissed rumors that the party's 2023 presidential candidate Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is planning to defect to the ADC. Dungurawa described the claim as political mischief, asserting Kwankwaso's role as key political figure in northern Nigeria. He praised Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf's infrastructure project in Kano, stating they have silenced the opposition. The Nigerian Conservation Foundation reported planting 184,000 trees in 2024 across various ecosystems to support its goal of restoring Nigerian forest cover to 25% by 2047. This was announced during the NCF's 36th Annual General Meeting at the Lekki Conservation Center, where stakeholders discussed preserving Nigerian's natural heritage. NCF President Izoma Aziodu, he highlighted key initiatives, including the Chief S.L. Edu Memorial Lecture on carbon credits, awarding research grant to 2 PhD students, and community support through the Green Recovery Nigerian program. Notable efforts included a borehole installations in Majakaura, Yobe State, and conservation project protecting species like cross-river gorillas and wild cats. NCF's participations in COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan, and local climate awareness work in Ibadan and Osun underscored its climate action efforts. Chairman Justice R.I.B. Adebiyi noted that the NCF created 75,000 green jobs and supported the National Elephant Action Plan, reinforcing its leadership in conservation. Let's now step aside for a brief commercial break, after which There's still plenty more to come right here on Some TV. Please don't go away.
Are you stuck in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing Supercab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds. Safe, fast and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the Supercab app today. Supercab, your ride, your way.
Welcome back. We're glad you're still here with us. Coming up next are the international business, sports, entertainment news. On the international news, on July 13, 2025, Bishop from Chelmsford, Gloucester and Norwich and southward urged the UK government to address escalating settled violence against Palestinians in the West Bank, where the situation is deteriorating amidst the ongoing Gaza war. The highlighted systematic attack on Tabor, the last Christian majority town, targeting its land and holy sites, including St. George's 5th century church. This attack threatens residents' security, livelihood, and heritage, with fear of explosion. The bishop accused successive Israeli governments of using settler violence to annex Palestinian land, with the current government enabling it through military inaction and a culture of impunity. The call for the UK to publish its legal response to the International Court of Justice in July 2024, ruling on Israel's unlawful presence, intensify sanctions on settlers and supporting organizations, and consider suspending the UK-Israel Trade Agreement to uphold its legal and moral duty. On business news, the Federal Inland Revenue Service announced a two-day national conference on illicit financial flows scheduled for July 22nd to 23rd at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja, to combat tax evasion and enhance Nigeria's financial system. The event themed Combating Illicit Financial Flows, Strengthening Nigeria's Domestic Resource Mobilization, will feature policy makers, tax administrators, law enforcement, anti-corruption bodies, and international stakeholders. FIRS Chairman Zach Adedeji, he highlighted efforts to strengthen compliance, enhance transparency, and leverage technology to curb tax evasion and trade mispricing. The conference, chaired by Minister of State for Finance Doris Uzoka Anite, will include a keynote address by Irene Ovonje, Odida of the UN High-Level Panel of IFFs. FIRS has approved capacity building program for staff and established a dedicated directorate to institutionalize the fight against illicit financial flows, aiming to boost revenue collection and financial integrity. Entertainment news. Nollywood actress Hilda Dokubo sparked controversy by questioning the political affiliations of David Mark and Nasir El-Rufai, who supports the new ADC coalition, while their children, Muhammad Bello, El-Rufai, and Blessing Ono, remains APC members in the House of Representatives. Posting on X, Dokubo shared photos of lawmakers asking, "Are their fathers trying to rescue us from their children?" She criticized the apparent contradiction, suggesting it reflects political double standards among powerful families. Her remark resonated with Nigerians frustrated by perceived inconsistencies in political loyalty, prompting calls for greater scrutiny of such dynamics. On sport news, Dangerem, former president of the Athletic Federations of Nigeria, criticized the structure of re-established National Sports Commission, labeling its lack of a full board as governance failure. In an interview with M4S TV, Ngerem argued that operating with only a chairman and director general undermine accountability and corporate confidence in an institution managing billions of naira. He emphasized the need for a board with corporate governance expertise to ensure transparency and prevent financial misuse, particularly during international events. Ngerem noted that the absence of a board data private sector investment in Nigeria's sport as it lacked best practices. He preferred past reports, including the Ogbemudia report and his own committee's work under General Isola Williams, which advocated for a proper board to oversee the Commission's operation. And that brings us to the end of the news at 9 p.m. for today. Now, a quick recap of the top stories. We brought you reports that Nigeria is mourning former President Muhammadu Buhari with a public holiday declared for his burial on July 15, 2025 in Daura, where President Tinubu has formed a committee led by George Akume to oversee arrangements. In Taraba, a new university focused on agriculture and climate action has been established to advance research and development. At the South-South Gas Utilization Forum, Minister Ekpo emphasized transforming Nigeria into a gas-powered economy. Internationally, UK Bishop urged action against escalating settler violence in the West Bank, calling for sanctions. In business news, the FIRS announced a conference to combat illicit financial flows and boost revenue collection. In entertainment, Nollywood actress Hilda Dakumbo sparked debate by questioning the political loyalty of David Mark and Nasir El-Rufai's children, who remain in the APC. Finally, in sports, Dangerem criticized the National Sports Commission's lack of a governing board, highlighting significant governance flaws and all the like. Stay with us for more exciting lineup of program and updates. I remain Bridget James. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.
In today's digital age, staying ahead of the curve is crucial for success. Taraba Business School is committed to empowering the next generation of leaders with the skills they need to thrive. We present to you our special computer training exclusively designed for SS3 and GSS3 graduates. Our comprehensive program covers a wide range of